assessment of the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today. This assessment is based on intelligence, the weapons used, the level of expertise needed to execute the operation, recent similar Iranian attacks on shipping, and the fact that no proxy group operating in the area has the resources and proficiency to act with a degree of sophistication.
Iran's foreign minister is now calling the incident suspicious and is asking for a regional deluge. RT's Rachel Blevins joins me now with the latest. Rachel, I have to ask you, what has the United States response been to the attack so far?
Well, you know, it's interesting because we saw Pompeo there said that the responsibility for the attack was solely on Iran, and President Trump actually recently tweeted, and he said that he believes that the dialogue that was going on between Japan's prime minister, who is there in Iran today, and between Iranian officials, he says that he believes it's too early to make a deal just yet. So we'll see what comes out of that. Now, this reported attack has raised concerns, and that it is a sign of increased instability in the region that is vital to the world's oil supplies. This as a result of reports that 2 tankers were attacked in the Gulf of Oman, just a few miles from Iran's coast. The location of the incident has raised concerns given its proximity to the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway which a third of the world's seaborne oil passes through every single day. Now, explosions were heard, and one of the vessels was reportedly hit by a torpedo. The oil tankers were flagged by Panama and Marshall Islands, and they were en route to Singapore and Taiwan. Following the reported attacks, Iran said that its crews rescued 44 sailors, and the U.S. Navy said it rescued 21 crew members. Former Pentagon official Michael Maloof told RT that the attack was meant to send a message.
There are no coincidences. I mean, this was all staged and was meant to send a message. The ships were not meant to be sunk, as I interpret things. And if you're going to try and look at what the cause was, go back to where the ships originated. Someone had to know what was the manifest, who the ship owners were. I mean, this had to be whoever had access to that kind of information could have planned this thing.
This incident is not the first of its kind, and fears of increased instability in the region drove up oil prices by 4% on Thursday. Brent crude futures were up 3.65% at more than $62 a barrel, and U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 3.5% at nearly $53 a barrel. As a result, the International Association of Independent Tanker Owners is now warning that because around 30% of the world's seaborne crude oil passes through the straits, the prospect of the waters becoming unsafe could mean that the oil supply to the entire Western world is at risk. Both of the oil tankers were reportedly carrying Japan-related cargo on a day when Japan's prime minister was on the country's first official visit to Iran in more than 40 years. Following Thursday's attacks, Iran's foreign minister took to Twitter where he said, quote, "Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning." He argued that this incident is evidence that Iran's proposed regional dialogue forum is imperative. It has also been 1 month since 2 Saudi Arabian oil tankers were among 4 ships that were damaged in the Persian Gulf. While Iran was quickly blamed by the U.S. and its allies in the region, it adamantly denied any involvement. In response to the previous attacks, National Security Advisor John Bolton issued a warning to Iran, claiming that any attacks in the Persian Gulf will be met with a very strong response from the U.S. So now it remains to be seen if anyone will take responsibility for this attack, what the fallout will be, and if similar attacks will continue. Scotty?
Well, I find this all to be very interesting, as our guest Michael Maloof did say. What does Iran gain by attacking something that is owned by the Japanese and the Norwegians on the same day that you have the Prime Minister of Japan visiting Iran for the first time?
Well, that is very notable, and I think the timing of it is a big thing because some may wonder why Iran would do that if they were responsible for it, but at the same time, it could be sending a big message from Iran or from anyone else that was responsible. So that's something we'll continue to follow and see what comes out of it.
Well, and the one thing people have to worry about is, obviously we've already seen the effect on gas prices just from one event from this. It could also show that whatever country, and if it turns out to be Iran, as Pompeo and the president are stating, that they can make some big differences. And so, therefore, they do have more power not to be ignored. Thank you so much.